Hello, my name is Doug Hayden. My talk today is 8 tips to raise successful children. You know, now that I'm 65 years old, my children are grown, 32 and 31. I'm often asked, what role did I play in having such successful children? There's 8 particular tips that I want to give you for better parenting. My daughter went to University of San Diego and graduated magna cum laude. She went on to Google for a number of years and then works for an artificial intelligence company where she now is a co-owner of a patent. And my son went to University of California, San Diego, and is only 32 years old and makes $300,000 a year as a leading sales rep. But it's not just the fact that they are financially successful. My children have empathy. My children are self-reliant. My children love each other and have compassion. These are the traits that hopefully I've instilled or played a part in instilling with them. I really want to reach out to the young dads because I had what I call the bankruptcy blessing. I had a good sized company and was going to have a bigger company and be flying all over the country, and I would not be there. And the way circumstances had it, I actually stayed home and raised the kids while my wife went to work. And I went on and had different business successes, but still I was integral during the raising of the kids and was a stay-at-home dad. I'm not trying to talk you into being a stay-at-home dad. I'm just trying to say, if you will just take a little off your career and put it into the children, because I put all my energy and effort into all my entrepreneurial skills, everything I had as a dad, I put into raising the kids. When you're now that you're 65 and you want an adult relationship with your children, it has paid off bigger than any mansion, bigger than any car, bigger than any travels. It is just the most rewarding feeling in the world, the relationship I have with my children and the one that you can have with your children. I'm going to give you 8 tips that you can use in your parenting. 1 is what I call don't overparent, and we'll get into that. Number 2 is to have an educational focus. Number 3 is to compute together. Number 4 is to build a stage. Number 5 is actually taping the debates. Number 6 is keeping it real with your finances and your fitness. Number 7 is instilling confidence in your children. And number 8 is spirituality. So let's go through them one by one. Don't overparent. What we did, we had 3 things that the kids had to do when they were little, all the way up till even today. They had to respect us, they had to be best friends, and they had to get good grades. 3 things, sound simple, but so many people overparent with so many different directions, and we just kept to that no matter what. And those are like the golden rules. Respect us, best friends, and good grades. And speaking of grades, we had an educational focus in our house. This is a tip that I did, which I think you can do. We blew up their report cards, 3 feet by 4 feet. We put them in the dining room from the time they were in kindergarten all the way up through high school. We celebrated their success in grades. And that's something that which I don't know if a lot of people are going to blow up report cards and put them in their dining room, but let me tell you, the benefits later on were just incredible. We read as a family. By that, even when we had a reversal and couldn't afford books and had to go to the library, all the way up till we had some success and they could have any book they really wanted. But besides encourage them to read, I would read alongside with them with my own book. And I think reading together with children is a big, big thing. And I think that's one of the things that we actually had an educational focus. The one book when they were in high school that I wanted them to read and I rewarded them for reading, for doing a book report, was on Think and Grow Rich. And that I would absolutely, once the child is old enough, have your child read that book. In that book, there's a list of excuses of all the reasons things can go wrong. And our kids, we're always talking about that when they have an obstacle in their way, whatever it is. You can go to Think and Grow Rich, you can look at the obstacles, and you can look at the excuses for not having that success. And that was a big thing. We computed together. We built a stage in our house, a horseshoe stage. Granted, at times we all had headphones on, but we didn't allow the kids to go up into their rooms, their own separate rooms with their own laptops. And instead, we were all down there together. My wife has a big job for a law firm. She was down there on the horseshoe. I was doing my business stuff, and the kids were on their computers doing what they were doing. But we computed as a family, and I think that just added a lot of success to us. You can find out how to do this on YouTube. We built a stage. We had a stage in our house, and the kids would play dress up. They had a lot of costumes. They do talk shows. They do skits. They do plays. But in terms of their developing and their creativity, and neither of my kids have a fear of public speaking, which most people have, having that stage in the house was an incredible factor in their success. In fact, with my daughter, there's like 6, 7 interviews before you get a Google job. In one place, she had to role play a play to get the job, and she said she knocked it out of the park, and she gives credit to all the time that she spent on stage. We also taped debates. Now, the kids could pick the topics. It didn't matter what it was. The kids could pick, is Britney Spears a good role model? But they had to argue both sides of the debate. And then we would play the debate back. We taped it on digital cameras. Now you'd use your iPhone. But we taped and got just incredible amounts of joy out of watching those debates. But the kids, in terms of adapting, and kids of thinking on their feet, and kids of being spontaneous, it really helped them in their careers. We kept it real. We kept it real regarding finances and regarding fitness. For finances, I had, when I was 30, what I call a bankruptcy blessing. I lost a big company, my own company. I lost a house. I lost a fancy car. We went to a 600 square foot apartment, which actually ended up being a good thing. The kids had one trundle type bed. They were so close growing up together, but that was a good thing. They have just an unbelievable relationship today and a closeness. We keep it real in terms of credit cards, in terms of finance, in terms of cash flow, in terms of teaching your kids about your money. And we don't keep it separate of what our own financial position is with the kids. We share everything with the kids. And we write down now, down to the penny with a spreadsheet, how we spend money. And we use that with the kids. And I think that's helped them a lot. 7th is what I call walk around like you own the place. My dad, he gave this to me. I gave it to my kids. You respect the owners, obviously, but when you're in a situation, you just walk around like you own the place. I didn't want my kids to be intimidated by any other people, regardless of their wealth or position. And I think instilling that they walk around like they actually own the place was a big thing in their success. Lastly, but spirituality-wise, we still pray as a family, but it's a very short, thank you for this food, amen. But that's 3 times a day when we were together, and even now, whenever we're together, we always do the quick prayer. We did go to organized religion in the beginnings, but as they got older and read books, we let them decide how their spirituality was. They're both very spiritual children. I think the fact that we let them pick their own religion or how they communicate with God or how they see God, they said they did that on their own. So we're pretty happy with that. Our approach differs. You can Google what a tiger mom is. Our approach differs in a tiger mom. It's not trapping your children in the prison of expectations and where their goals aren't your goals and they're being forced to produce. They will resent that when they're older. Instead, they get to choose. And we just had that basic premise of respect us, of being best friends and getting good grades. And it really, really, really paid off. So I hope my 8 tips helps any young parents. Reach out to me if you want, and I will email you back. But this is what we did. And I think these 8 tips will help you with your parenting.